Hey everybody, what's going on? Rob Cesternino back for another Deal or No Deal Island preview. Today, we're talking about another one of our famous faces on Dondi Season 2, Parvati Shallow. And of course, we've got the panel back here. Of course, we know Dondi. This guy knows it so well. Chappell is here. Chappell, how are you?
I'm feeling good. We're doing another one of these preseason rundowns of these big names that we have on this season of Dondi. And I think this one, all of these names are huge, but people were shocked when they saw this name come across the screen. So I'm ready to talk about Parvati.
Okay, of course, here, she could have been in the Black Widow Brigade, maybe.
Oh, yes,
Jenny
absolutely.
Autumn. Jenny, how are you?
I did not actually know this was about me. I definitely would have loved to be in the Black Widow Brigade. I've been watching Parvati on TV for a really long time, and she popped up on the Traders last year, and I thought that was it. Wouldn't see her again for a little while, and here she is on Deal or No Deal Island, right after we had our season last year with Rob, and I'm just like, it's wild. I can't believe it's happening.
All right, and we have a great guest, of course, that we needed an iconic woman survivor here to talk about Parvati. And so we are thrilled to have here with us from season 44 of Survivor, Maddy Pomilla is here. Maddy, how are you?
Hi, y'all. I'm so good. I'm great. So happy to be here. So honored to be invited to chat about Parv. She is a legend, and there's so much to talk about. So I'm excited.
Yeah, a lot to talk about. This is the final of our Dondi previews that we talked about, of course, Dr. Will and David, the Golden God from Australian Survivor. Plus, we had an interview with Joe Manganiello earlier this week. So that is all up in our Dondi podcast feed at WeKnowDondi.com, and we will kick off our coverage of episode number 1 on Tuesday night. So be there for that. Okay, so Maddy, we know Dondi. You're a newcomer to Dondi, but you know Parvati.
I do. Yeah, I would say that Parvati is going to be the only reason that I watch Dondi. I didn't watch last season, but with a name like that, for a girl like me, that might be the thing that ropes me in.
Yes, the Dondi appeal.
No, not the Dondi appeal, the Parv appeal.
Oh,
Parv of it all.
Okay, I thought you just really like to say Dondi because we love it.
Dondi! Dondi!
See,
Maddy, before you know it, you will be thrown into the battle cry with us.
Also, Maddy, a big year for Parvati because we're also going to see her play alongside David in Australian Survivor versus the World.
Yeah,
she's a big Parvati year, and I think she also popped up in the trailer for the Traders season 3.
I saw that. Did anyone know about that?
She's in the trailer. I miss a trailer?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's in it, and I feel bad because we did a draft not too long ago about like who we thought could pop up in reality TV, and somehow Shannon picked Parvati, and the woman has not left my television screen in a year. She's busy. We are getting so much Parvati content.
Parvati's agent is the MVP.
Yeah, I'm trying to find out how she's gonna do here on Dondi.
Okay.
The feature in the trailer, was it just like a scene from last season?
I bet she's there to like host a competition or something like that.
She's
like kind of like Dr. Will last season.
Actually gonna be in an episode.
We'll see. Okay.
See. Wow.
All right, Maddy, you're here to talk about Parvati. For anybody who's maybe like a Big Brother person who maybe doesn't know Parvati or maybe a newer reality TV fan, can you just speak to the character Parvati Shallow?
I will do my best. I think okay, so this is like the person, if you are young and you're applying to reality TV, you probably couldn't do better than Parvati. I think her first time on reality TV, she applied, I think, for the Real World, got rejected.
I didn't know that.
Yes, she made it far to the Real World, got rejected, and then got on Survivor Cook Islands.
Yes.
For those who don't know Survivor, you may remember from watching the news, it was super, like, very contentious. I remember literally being in 7th grade, and there was this TV show. Does anyone remember Channel 1 News? I was in Mr. Spears' class, like 7th grade, and I remember watching the news, and they were saying Survivor separated tribes by race. And even at 12 years old, I was like, that's not good. This show is and that's really bad for me because I have 6 more years before I can apply. So I was furious about it. Little did I know we were about to meet Parvati, who actually on that season was purpled. She was not a big character at all.
Yeah. Really, Parvati doesn't have a big edit. Ultimately, I don't know if it's episode 12 or 13, but she has like a big moment in the season where Chappell, she's in the hot tub with Ozzy and Yul. And there's some temptation of like, Yul doesn't want to leave Ozzy alone with Parvati. He's not sure what's going to happen. And Yul is part of the most uncomfortable throuple in Survivor history as he sat there in the hot tub all night to make sure that Ozzy wasn't left alone with Parvati.
For strategy. For strategy.
Naked. You skipped the naked part. The Ozzy is a wild boy. We know this to be true. And we think he had met his match at that point because Parvati was down and people were like, oh, who is this lady? She's barely been on the screen, but this is spicy. Yul was stuck between a rock and a hard place and didn't even know how to get out of there. It was tough. But that's how she makes a name for herself.
Between a rock and a what?
A place. A wet place? A hot tub? I don't know. Listen, not going to talk about it.
This is one of the first moments where I said, I want to be her.
It looked fun.
Yeah.
2 of the hottest men in Survivor history.
3 tickets to immunity challengers.
Please.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Parvati had a quiet season, but that was one of those moments where, amidst all the drama that Maddy was talking about with all the conversations about race and Cook Islands and how Survivor was presenting itself, we got a really fun character out of nowhere. So it's like, we got to have her back to play again, right? Like that feels like normal.
And Maddy, I really feel like that moment sort of cemented her as a part of Survivor Micronesia, fans versus favorites. I think that they were looking to, bring some excitement to the band of returning players that are going to be back for that season. And so here comes Parvati, and she's on her way, destined to be the first player voted out until Johnny Fairplay wants to ultimately organize his own departure from the game.
Totally. Rob, you'll have to remind me because your Survivor history is leagues better than mine. Was that shown in the edit that Parvati was maybe going to go first?
Yeah, I think so. And then Johnny Fairplay had been powerbombed by Danny Bonaducci at the Fox Reality Awards, where I was in attendance earlier in that night, or earlier, like a couple of weeks before. And Johnny Fairplay got like all his teeth knocked out. And then that him and Yao Man were fighting for the idol. And then Yao Man knocked him into the side of the boat, which then I think like re-aggravated some of his injuries. And then he's like, yeah, I want to leave. And so Parvati is saved. And the rest is reality TV history.
Wow. So I didn't remember that made the edit. And I thought I was going to come in here with some hot tea because when I went first on my season of Survivor 44, someone from the alumni ethers came to my DMs and was like, girl, don't worry about it. I was on a season with Parvati and literally her ass was grass. She was about to go. So thank God her ass was not grass because from that season, we had probably the most...
Wow, a blind item.
You know,
Yao Man? Is Yao Man in your DMs?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Yeah.
I'm going to put
Queen
this out
Yao
there.
Man.
There is something, everything sucks about going pre-merge in Survivor. Everything. But one nice thing that happens after the fact is everyone fucking tells you everything. Sorry, I cussed.
Yes.
Everyone tells you everything. So you know how in the Titanic, they're like, a woman's heart is an ocean of secrets. That's me. I have all the Survivor secrets. Everyone tells me everything.
Wow.
So that's not a secret. I guess that was in the edit. But anyway, yeah, Parvati was going to go first on that season. Thank God she didn't, because from that season, for those who didn't watch, we had probably the most dominant female led by actually multiple women, not just Parvati, alliance that brought to the final 5 all females. Did Eric Reichenbach go?
Well, Eric went to the 5 and then they got him.
Final 4 women.
They got his ass.
They got his ass. Actually, I have a beautiful painting from Eric Reichenbach. I'm getting sidetracked, but I'm gonna show you guys.
Okay, Maddy is going to go get a painting from Eric
Reichenbach. While she does that, I do want to point out that even when Johnny Fairplay is on the fence about whether or not he should go, we do see glimpses of Parvati being like, maybe we should quit. You know, and that was like the seeds
Mhm.
of, you know, maybe the monster that we didn't know we were dealing with Parvati Shallow.
Yeah.
Maddie, that
Low-key
picture is
manipulative.
iconic.
Yeah, can you read the
Queen.
caption from Eric's art?
Ooh.
His
Um,
Dabu doodle.
Did I find the key? Did you find the key? Did you find the key over there? It's about the first episode of Survivor
Yes.
44. Key Gate. Actually, I saw
Yes.
Brianna Bottom last night.
Yes.
Yes, real
We're
one.
friends now.
That looks
Yeah.
beautiful framed. Like
Mhm.
Yes, and you
Yeah.
can buy Eric's art online. He's very
I've only
talented.
ever seen it on like online, so it's nice to see it like
Framed.
Yeah.
framed in
Got
its
it.
glory.
Okay.
Look
So
at Parvati's powers. Now we're talking about Eric Reichenbach all of a sudden on the Dondi podcast. Look at Parvati put him on the map really by stealing his idol.
yeah.
Memorable season. If you haven't seen Survivor and you're gonna watch Dondi and you want to know about Parvati, what do we think, crew? Can you skip Cook Islands? Can you go straight to Micronesia?
Yes.
I think
can go
so.
straight
I
to
think so.
Micronesia.
Watch
I
the YouTube video.
actually watched it in that order. I had a like in the middle. I got a little jumbled, and then I actually did watch Micronesia before Cook Islands,
Mhm.
not caring about spoiling. So it's fine, and I'm fine. Look at me, I'm totally normal.
So I'd love to jump ahead because this is sort of like, okay, the young Parvati that is just coming up. She wins Survivor Micronesia, comes back for Heroes versus Villains, and then makes a bunch more Survivor history, has like the great moment with the double idol play as well. A lot of debate. Should she have won? Should Sandra have won? But let's skip ahead to now the, you know, fully formed adult Parvati that we most recently have seen on the Traitors. Maddie, can you tell us a little bit about your opinion of what is the TV character that is the now adult version of Parvati? And is she in any ways very different from the younger Parvati?
I think yes. I think if you're going to go back and you're going to do your Parvati studying, I think in the beginning you sort of see like a flirty, young, maybe like not flaky, but like a little distracted young woman, doesn't know exactly where she's going, living on the moment, super fun, just like following her whimsy. And I think that being young on Survivor, like she was, and eventually finding success, but then when you find success, you get scrutinized for it. I think it really forced Parvati to become someone who has to ask a lot of questions about who she is because she's so good at manipulating people and she's so good at charming people, and to what end, and like what, like I think people can get lost in the games of like, what, like, is this really me or is this what I'm doing to achieve a means to an end in this game? So what I think is cool about seeing Parvati play so many years later is I think that she has great clarity about why she's there. She's like on a mission. She seems really confident in who she is. And she's coming out with a book even. What's the title?
Yes. Nice Girls Don't Win.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's making no she's not mincing her words.
Yeah.
And
so
we saw that on Traitors. Like she's snipping at people, and I think it makes for great TV.
Yeah. You know, Chappell, Parvati sort of gets branded with this image. Really, like the narrative around her is that, okay, she's the flirt. That's how she wins. That's how she operates. And I don't think you can deny that that is a part of her game, but it sort of becomes like synonymous of like, that's all she is as a player.
Well, she even talks about it, you know, from Cook Islands on. She says when she watched Cook Islands back, she said, I was so one-dimensional. Like all I could do was flirt and I didn't have any real game to me. She comes to Micronesia and she's willing to weaponize one of her powers, which is her charm. She can turn it on for whoever she wants to turn it on. And she does. She leads this alliance. You could say it was like a group, you know, an ensemble cast of women that go on and do some amazing things. And then she comes back for Heroes versus Villains with a name that is bigger than her. Like she is just like, Parvati, you alone led these women. It's like, you know, so she gets there. Her reputation precedes her. And then she goes on to do great things and flashy things in Heroes versus Villains as well. We will see Survivor players from that moment on. Young women, I want to play the Parvati game. I'm going to play the Parvati game. I'm going to be the Parvati. We see men being like, we got to stomp out these Parvatis. We can't let a Parvati get too far. Her name is so large that by the time she's come back to play for Survivor again, like no one would dare let her get her teeth sunk into the game. It just won't happen. So she's not the same person that she used to be because she's grown up a lot. That's not the same persona that she has. She probably still has those powers, but being older, being in a relationship, having kids, those types of things will mature you in a way that maybe you don't want to lean into those things anymore. And so I'm really wondering, like, what does it look like now? Parvati's back on the beach. That's where she operates the best.
Well, I think that this is an interesting way to think about this. And tell me if I'm way off base with, how I'm looking at Parvati and her reality TV career. I think that her early career on Survivor, I think was really marked by her warmness and the way that she was able to turn on the charm. And I feel like that the adult version of Parvati that we see is really marked by an iciness, a coldness to her.
I have a take on this.
Yes.
And this is going to sound extremely stupid, but I was like, is there a better word than stupid for this? No. I feel like the game of traitors does kind of lend itself to coldness and iciness, and it's not just the attire. Like, she was in sweaters, it was cold and rainy in Scotland. She's got a cute little hat on or headband, and I mean, Chappell said it, she excels on the beach. Maybe there's something about the format and the climate of that kind of game that's based in this area that, like, she taps into the warmth. I think it sounds insane, but I also think it's like partially the game, but because in the Traitors, it's like you literally have no idea. Like, everyone is looking at everyone as like, this person could be lying to you. Whereas, like, yes, that is a thing in games like Survivor or even Dondi, let's say, but not at the same degree where it's like you were assigned a role where it is your job to lie about everything about yourself, about what you're doing here, the way that it is in the Traitors. And I think that causes someone like Parvati, who is very skilled at warmth and connecting and like that magnetism, that drawing people in kind of energy that she has. I think that kind of stifles that capability, especially when you're a traitor. So I wonder if we will see a return to warm, hot, like draw you in kind of Parvati, because she's back on the beach, baby.
And Joe Manganiello mentioned that in our interview. He said that, hey, maybe it's Parvati back on the beach, that she's back in a bathing suit. This is like her superhero uniform, and that he said Parvati is back.
Yeah.
Two things. Jenny, I love what you said. It was not stupid. And
it sounds a little kooky, but
the way in which all of you talk about reality TV it's like we're in like an art history class talking about a painting. The way I watch reality
TV, Eric Reichenbach original.
The way I watch reality TV is like drooling on my couch, but you guys are watching it in 4D. Like the takes are incredible. I love it.
Maddy, I will wax poetic about the dumbest shit. So, okay, like it's like it's a useless skill.
It's incredible. And I think that you're totally onto something with like the format of the show, not just like the game mechanics, but also like at least for me, when I watch Survivor, like the place is like a character itself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and so I think that you're onto something there with the Traitors. And then also with Parvati returning to the beach, I love that, so dramatic. I think that we would be remiss not to talk about what happened to her on 40, which for those of Survivor, that was Winners at War. So we have this epic group of people coming back, competing for the most amount of money that we've ever had in Survivor. And she's a Titan, and everyone's afraid of her. Like, who's going to get bit by the snake? And Rob, phoning a friend, what place did she get? I mean, she did poorly.
It was like, it depends if we're talking about the edge of extinction, but I think she was out like, 6th or 7th. She's, ends up like in this tribe where she seems like that she's like, okay, where she's with Boston Rob, but she ends up on a tribe with Yule, Nick Wilson, Wendell, and then also
Michelle.
Michelle Fitzgerald. And her and Michelle bond, but it seemed like that she was having a really hard time with bonding with those three guys, whether Yul doesn't want to trust her, Wendell and Nick aren't giving her anything, and she ends up sort of going out without being able to put up much of a fight there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think that like for her to return to Survivor would probably be pretty challenging, given probably traumatizing to have your last season be like that. But now she has this new platform. It's like more fun, less. I read an interview with her, great interview with her, I think with Paper Magazine last year.
Yeah.
She was talking about how she doesn't want to do shows that are suffery, which I think also speaks to like the evolution of Parvati. It's like when you're young, you have something to prove. And when you're a little bit older, you just like want to have fun. And she's like got a whole career out of this now. And I think she's just kind of winging it.
Also, catch Parvati on Australian Survivor versus the World coming later this year.
It's 2 weeks.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's shorter, right? Which is not usually what you would expect from Australian Survivor, but it's a little less suffery. I think like to what Maddie's saying here though is also just that you have less to prove, so you're like a little like choosier about your energy. I have a take about Winners at War though, and this is something that I kind of apply to a lot of people that were on Winners at War. The problem with such a specific returnee season is that I think that a lot of maybe I'm speaking out of turn here, but like I think that a lot of people that have been on Survivor again, or had the opportunity to go back would probably say that like there's a time where it feels right or it doesn't feel right. And I think that for at least probably a third of the cast, that it was not the right time for them to be doing Winners at War.
No.
But how do you say no if it's just like, oh, we're bringing 4 people back and it's just a whatever season, or it's like half the cast or whatever? You cannot say no to Winners at War. You can't say, oh, they'll call me next time. Right. So I think that a lot of people that maybe were not in a place in their life where that was like the right thing for them to be doing did Winners at War, because you can't say no. You don't want to be left out of that opportunity. And it's not the kind of thing that you can do next year or in a couple years.
And her daughter was very young. I think only, I think less than a year old when she went to go.
She was, definitely like baby. So I think that she's definitely one of those people. And I don't know if she said this. This is just my like vibe of it, is that she's one of those people where it was like, if it weren't that, I don't think that she would have been answering the call for Survivor at all. Sure. And it was like the FOMO of it all. Like you can't say no to something like this that's iconic, but it was not the right time.
I think we can take something to learn from her Winners at War game though, and apply it a little bit to Dondi, because we brought back 2 other celebrity names in David and Dr. Will, and they're the bros. But we've seen that Parvati has been in a threesome of sorts with the bros before. She really did get along with Ozzy and Yul. Awesome. But her power is her charm for guys and women as well.
Yes.
Parvati is good to pull over like a Michelle, like we talked about in Winners at War. She was good for the Black Widow Brigade. She's good at making these alliances with the women. And I think in a way that maybe Dr. Will and David won't be. And so she's got other outs, whereas like they might be incentivized to keep the crew together. She's going to be trying to build her coalition with other people, because that's what Parvati does.
Well, Chappell, I think you touched on something that's, I think, very important. Maddie, I think that Parvati, I think that her appeal, she's known as this flirt, the Black Widow, but I feel like that really Parvati, with a lot of the men on reality TV, they fear her more than they are really drawn to her. Yes. I think that Parvati's superpower is attracting women, specifically young women. I think this was part of the problem on the Traders. There were no young Parvati fans
Impressionable,
that were
right.
on that show. But here on Dondi, I would imagine there's probably going to be like 2 or 3 different young women who want to be a Parvati, want to be in the Black Widow Brigade. Like that's really where that I think that really
Yes.
energizes her of like
Yes,
having like a
Rob.
couple of young women that like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
like
Who
the
feeds it.
new Natalie Boltons and Danielle DiLorenzo's who
Yes.
want to follow her around. Michelle
man.
got sucked into this a little bit
feed.
and want to like be a part of Parvati's new clique.
Yeah, no, totally. And I think
She's
that
the queen bee.
That part.
Yeah.
I think that Parv is close with Suri to a degree from the seasons that they've done together and just life. But we all saw what happened with Suri on Big Brother. Who's gonna be the Izzy to Suri
Yes.
for Parvati on Dondi? So can you guys tell me about the cast? Do we know anyone or know anything about the cast?
We don't know too much about the civilians.
Okay.
Right. But last season we got like an array of
The
of different
normies.
people, but the
Yeah.
normies weren't like they weren't not reality TV fans. Like they came in knowing who Boston Rob were. A bunch of them did. Not like everybody, but a bunch of them were like, no, that's Boston Rob. We got to target them. I think that Boston Rob has this like aura about himself. Like you got to get him out. But for women and even younger guys, even like I could see them
Yes.
coming in and be like, oh, that's Parvati. You know, like you got to work with Parvati. How could you not want to work with her? Whereas in Boston Rob, I'm like, I kind of don't want to work with Boston Rob because he's going to cut me. Parvati might drag me to the end. She might beat me, but you know, like she's less likely to cut her allies than maybe like a Boston Rob is. You know, Boston Rob's going to make you look like a fool. Parvati made Eric look like a fool. And then she kind of just like, he was playing around with everybody else.
Yeah.
Her
I mean,
magnetism. Sorry.
But Boston Rob was able to do the Parvati thing actually in Dondi. One of the reasons why he was so successful that he had a couple of specifically Aaron, but also like Nick. That there were like some like young to a point. There were some like younger guys that like looked up to Rob, and so that he was able to like get a little bit of that.
I think that the one thing as well is that her charm and her magnetism is not exclusive. Like I know, Chappell, you're saying even more than men, she's able to draw on women, which I 100% agree with. It's not purely like sexual romantic kind of thing. Like it's just like this sort of it's this unspoken like I'm obsessed with you. I want to be around your energy. Like I want to be a part of this, the warmth that Rob has alluded to here. Like that is like almost addictive, like an addictive trait for some people where it's not even. So I think that she has, you know, a really wide array of options of the kind of people that she can attract. And it is not just limited to, oh, I am a hot woman and I am only attracting straight men that are interested in me, like on a physical level. It is so beyond that. And that is what is truly dangerous. And Rob, I think you're right. Like, I really think that there were not enough of the kinds of people that Parvati has power over on the traders. And I also, again, think it's a little bit part of the game. Like we even saw like Pilot Pete, like he
Ekin Su was almost there.
Ekin Su was almost.
Yeah.
Ekin Su was ready to die for her.
Yeah.
And she poisoned her.
What we're talking about though is like she has to have the right pieces. Like she can't play any game and win. Like she has to have the right hardware to do it. And as you were talking, Jenny, I was thinking about like, and I think about this with people that I like am obsessed with. I'm like, I either am obsessed with people because I find them relatable or I find them aspirational.
Right.
So do you think that like Parvati's lure to people interpersonally or to viewers is that people feel that she's relatable or that they like aspire to be her? Because sometimes like people are like, I'm in like bi panic. Like, do I like want to be you or do I want to be with you? Like, I can't tell.
I think for her, it's probably aspirational, like that a lot of people feel that way because she has this like sort of effortless like confidence about her that does not come off, I think. And I'm speaking just as someone that has only really observed her on television. But I think that people see it and they're like, what? Like this cool girl attitude that doesn't come off as like mean. Like she's the warmth again. Like it's not, I don't know. It's just kind of this effortless, cool chick stuff that people are like, I would love to be cool and have it come off as like not trying too hard. And so I think that that's like the trait that a lot of people, men and women, like everyone is kind of just like, man, I would love to come off as effortlessly cool. And like, I am very secure with who I am. And I think that that's the kind of vibe that she gives off to a lot of people. So that's why I think it's aspirational, but I think it could be a little bit of a mix of both, depending on who's looking at her.
I agree. I think that the aspirational part is that she is the cool girl. She's the it girl. And look, I'm not going to say like Jenny said, it don't come off mean. I think it does. But I think that
it can.
people like being liked by the person who doesn't like other people. It's like, come with me. You come with me. Me and you are cool. The rest of them cannot compare to us. This is my crew. The rest of y'all, let's sit around and talk trash about them because
let's read JT's letter again.
And laugh in his face. It wasn't like that happened one time. Her and Russell were walking around reciting the letter on Heroes versus Villains. Then you wonder why people didn't want to vote for it, but it's like the people who are with me are with me. They're with me. That we don't go with y'all and what y'all do. And so it's like everybody wants to be next to her and be in that cool kids crew. And that's the thing that she has over a lot of these other people is that she doesn't really, like Jenny says, she doesn't make it look hard. It makes it look like you're just drawn to that energy, and she's got a lot of it.
I want to talk a little bit about Parvati in the Deal or No Deal island game. Now, Maddy, a lot of Dondi comes down to, 1, your tolerance for risk, and 2, luck. And so I wonder, from Parvati's personality, what we've seen from her on television before, that how risk tolerant do you think Parvati is when it comes down to potentially going up and facing the banker?
You're freaking me out.
Why?
I was gonna talk about this earlier. I was like, you know what I want? I want Parvati to do something different because I haven't seen. I mean, she does do ballsy things, but I haven't seen her do anything foolish. And like, there's like a fine line between like brave and foolish, and I kind of like standing on both sides of it. Like, I think that's fun, and so I want to see her play a risky game because I feel like. Talking about Parvati and the evolution of Parvati, like she just came out in a queer relationship. I think she just got out of that relationship. Like in a lot of ways, she's like freer than she's ever been. She's on a slew of TV shows this year. In a lot of ways, she's playing with house money. Girl, go for it. You've been on TV for 20 years. Do something stupid and just see if it happens. I don't know. That's my advice.
She's definitely made risky moves. The double idol play in Heroes versus Villains to, play those 2 idols based off of her read of Amanda Kimmel in that situation. I mean, it's legendary. It's risky. Do we think that she is going to, have that same kind of bravado and go in to face the banker, Chappell?
I think she needs to. I think that that is Parvati that we know. That's the lore. That's the name that's bigger than the person. She didn't get to do that in the Traders, right? It's just not the environment for that. But now, honestly, I could see her going up against the banker and being like, and just like winning around and just like everybody's just being amazed. And like, oh yeah, this is Parvati. How did you do it? But I could also see her leading the sheep to the slaughter. Yeah. Oh, Parvati, you don't have to go in. I'll go up against the banker. She's like, me? You want to give me your idol, JT? Russell, oh my God, thank you. That's her. That's Parvati. She's sending these saps out here to do her bidding, and she's just going to sit back and let the banker take these people out.
That's what I think is going to happen. I think that, and we talked about Will, we talked about David, and I could see both of those guys wanting the thrill of going in and facing the banker. I feel like that Parvati is not going to want to be in that situation if she can help it. I think that she will much rather like put her people out there. I think she would rather have people she trusts facing the banker, people that she knows, even if they lose. Best case scenario, they come back. And even if they lose, they're not sending Parvati out of the game. That Jenny, do you agree with that?
100%. I was going to say that because connection and, like building this like almost cult-like following is her superpower. You can't charm Ben and Kamari. Is it Kamari? Our briefcase holders. Ben and Kamari. You can't charm them into changing the number.
I think it's about Ben Driebergen.
No, our briefcase models that are back for this season.
My friends.
You can't charm the banker.
You
They love me.
can't charm
I charmed the
them
hell out of them.
You
into
did.
changing the fate of what is in the briefcases you're choosing. You know what I mean? You
Mhm.
might feel like you have like the ability to like, you know, because people are superstitious and they feel like certain things, feel good about certain numbers or whatever. Like there is that luck and superstitious element of Dondi, and it's whatever, right? It's
Mhm.
fun. She might be one of those people that has that kind of confidence in her ability to like read the vibe of something, but like her real power is her relationships with people and the ability to get people to fall on their sword for her, risk it for her, not her having to risk it for herself. And so that's why I agree, Rob, that I think that her way of playing this game has got to be assembling an army, even of a few that are willing, that are a little bit more risk tolerant and are willing to risk it all for the alliance, for
Yeah.
her.
I mean, she
Maddy,
doesn't have. Oh, go ahead, Rob.
if Parvati called Natalie Bolton right now and said, Natalie, I need your social security number. Can you text it to me?
She's on the way.
Probably they've known each other 20 years. Probably. I'm
Yeah,
trying
they did a photo shoot together. Like
Helen.
here.
Me, I mean, I've only known Helen 3 years. If Helen asked for my social, I'd be like, "Why? Okay."
Wow. Maybe
Honestly,
Helen for
relatable
Dondi.
energy.
Yeah,
Helen.
you know, I feel like
I'm like, what is anyone
Parvati's
doing with
signature
this?
move is not the double idol play, and it's not getting naked. It is Eric Reichenbach. Take that off. Give me your idol. You know, take that immunity necklace off. And it was an ensemble cast for sure. But if Parvati can pull off something like that, if anybody can pull off something like that in Dondi, it's Parvati. Like, oh, you could be safe. You could take that briefcase, or we really like you more if you didn't. If you put yourself up against the banker, wouldn't it be cool? Wouldn't we would all be rooting for you if you did that? You would be so great, and then you could hang out with me. And oh my god, I know all the cool people. Like you, don't you want to do that? You're like, damn,
Wow.
no deal. You know, like that's the thing.
I think you're right. Like, even though I would love to see her do something different, just because why the hell not? YOLO. She has nothing to prove. I mean, this has worked for her for so long, and all of these like young, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed people who want to be on reality TV and hang out with Parvati, like they are in their own heads thinking that they're going to do something epic. So I would not be surprised if we had a situation where she uses people as pawns to do her bidding. 100%.
Yeah. Wow.
Geniuses.
Boy, who thought that Eric Reichenbach would get mentioned 9 times on this podcast?
You
Well,
said
actually-
Parvati, right?
Mhm.
I mean,
She's all over the place.
They're tied together in the Survivor history, and when they show him, they show her.
Yeah.
He can't escape her.
Yeah.
So
Maddy, is there anything else that we should be keeping in mind about Parvati as we get ready to watch her on Dondi?
No.
Okay. Yeah. I think that it's going to be interesting to see how she interacts with the other 2 known quantities in Dr. Will and David, 2 guys who are also both very flirty. Like they picked out like 3 of the flirtiest reality TV
She's
people.
single
it's
now.
Riz Island.
And
she's
she's
single.
single now. That's what I was saying. Like a single.
Was
single
she
Dr.
single
Will,
when this was filming?
when this was
though?
filmed? That's a good
No,
question.
she's very classy. Like she hasn't
Mhm.
listened to
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, but like single
Yeah.
Dr. Will, single Parvati. I don't know
Who knows?
David's status, but I'm just saying you again 3
Okay.
tickets to Dondi. Please.
Did you
Yes,
notice
Jenny?
just one quick thing again, stupid. Did you notice her cast photo? First of all, serving as always. However, she's like almost in her own version of camo. She's wearing like this green dress that is like the exact color of like the grass and the foliage. It's like, is this saying something? Are you trying to like blend in with the normies, with the civilians, with the environment, and not come off as the massive threat that you are?
Jenny,
Or
that is a cover up.
does
She
she
about to
just-
take that green dress off, and it's gonna be the Parvati bikini that we all know.
Okay, but what if it's the same color? I'm just saying, right? Like that is like she's shining because it's like the dress doesn't have to do anything. It's blending in with the background. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I just thought it was so funny.
You are serving art historian 100%.
Yeah.
Meaning
Dondi is my muse.
We've all been blind. She's telling us things through the dress. Duh.
Yeah.
It's a statement, guys.
Chappell, anything else you want to add about Parvati?
No, I'm just ready to see it. I just got me hyped. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's get these people back doing what we know and love them to do. We haven't seen Dr. Will in a while. David's got a storied career that we are recently getting to know in Australian Survivor. And then Parvati is no longer in the cold traders island with that stupid beanie on. She's out here. She's out here. She's out here. Back
she might
here.
still be in the traders from the trailer, but she's everywhere.
Yeah, and I'm ready to talk about it. Let's go.
All right. Well, Maddy, thank you so much for being here with us, Maddy. I know you're retired. You make rare podcast appearances, but where can people keep up with what you're doing?
I don't know. In real life, come find me.
Come find you in real life. Nobody's ever said that before on the podcast.
Just kidding.
People usually like, don't find me in real life.
Yeah, well, maybe I shouldn't say that. But if you want to follow me, I am on Instagram, and I'm now on Blue Sky.
Oh,
we're all doing Blue Sky.
Some people are, yeah.
I have a funny handle. Jeff, can you hear me? Jeff Probst, can you hear me? Follow me there.
Okay. All right, Maddy, thank you for being here with us. Jenny, what else is coming up for you?
Just the road to Dondi. Really looking. I can't wait to see Parvati interacting with Dr. Will and David. Like, I can't believe this is happening. Can't wait. Chappell and I recently finished up our coverage of House of last year, you might say, even actually. We'll be one of those people. Oh, last year. But House of Villain season 2, it's over, and Chappell and I covered all of it. And if you missed it, get caught up on our coverage. WeKnowVillains.com for all of our podcasts. We had a great time covering it. And I'm on social media at Jenny Autumn, and I will post there about anything else coming up. But the Dondi train is hype. We are ready. Let's go.
Okay. Jenny, Dondi. We are almost ready. Tuesday night, Dondi kickoff. And then Chappell, what else is going on for you?
You can find me on recapkickback.com. That's what I'm talking about. The stuff that I want to talk about. And on We Know Scripted TV and We Know Reality TV, talking about Squid Game and various other shows. I got a lot going on, but check me out. Follow me on all social media platforms at Recap Kickback.
Okay, don't miss any of our Dondi coverage, including the exit interviews after each episode, plus our recap and much more. Go to WeKnowDondi.com to make sure you're subscribed wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you so much for joining us. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.